lesson is on substitution and evaluation. These two really go hand in hand. In order to evaluate, you must substitute. And so substitution, let's just really talk about that real quick. Substitution is when you replace a variable with a number. Replace a variable with a number. And when you evaluate, or evaluation is really essentially telling you to use the order of operations. All right. Now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and read number one. Number one is read: evaluate 0 3/10 times y plus y divided by z when y equals 10 and z equals 5. All right. You heard me say 0 3/10, which really I can change that to 3/10. And 3/10 times y being 10, because I'm going to replace the variable y with a number 10, plus, once again, I'm going to do some more replacement. And when I replace things, in math, when you replace a variable and a number, it's a good habit to use parentheses. So that's going to be 10. That's going to be 5 here. And now I can go ahead and evaluate my my expression. I changed it. I wrote that as a fraction, but essentially I know that those 10s cancel out. Or we should know that. So that's going to give us 3 plus 10 divided by 5 is 2. And 3 plus 2 is 5. And as you see, when you do your work, you work vertically. You work left to right, and then you work top to bottom. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and move on to number 2. Number 2 says evaluate 8 times p plus 3 times q minus 18 when p equals 1/2 and q equals 7. So let's go ahead and write that out. Rewrite our expression. 8 times 1/2 plus 3 times 7 minus 18. And like I said before, if you want to put your multiplication symbols there, you can do that. When we evaluate, 8 times 1/2 is really like thinking of half of 8. Half of 8 is 4, so that's going to give me 4, plus 3 times 7 is 21, minus 18. Continue working left to right. 4 plus 21 makes 25. 25 minus 18 makes 7. All right, number 3. Number 3, when you read it properly, says evaluate 2/5 times g plus 3 times h minus 6 when g equals 10 and h equals 6. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into that. I'm going to rewrite it. 2/5 times 10 plus 3 times 6 minus 6. And just for out of good habits, I'm going to go back and put my multiplication symbols. I know, let's rewrite this as a fraction. And I know that 5 goes into, let me use a different color there. 5 goes into 5 one time, and it goes into 10 twice. So I'm going to really rewrite this to say 2 over 1 times 2 over 1 plus 18 minus 6. 2 over 1 is 2, and 2 times itself is 4. So that's 4 plus 18 minus 6. 4 and 18 make 22. 22 minus 6 makes 16. All right. So before I move on, just remember that when you evaluate, you replace a variable with a number, and you use your order operations. Okay? Number 4. When you read it, it says evaluate 3/7 times R plus 5/8 times S when R is 14 and S is 8. So let's go ahead and rewrite it. 3/7 times R, which is 14, plus 5/8 times 8. Now we're gonna change these, rewrite these, and make sure we write them like fractions. For the first one, 3/7 times 14 over 1. We know that 7 goes into 7 and 14. 7 goes into 7 once, and it goes into 14 twice. So when I rewrite this, this is going to be rewritten as 3 times 1. Oh, excuse me, 3 divided by 1 times 2 divided by 1 plus. Now, 5/8 times 8. Anytime you have a situation like this, if the whole number is the same as the denominator, then they're going to essentially cancel out. So that's just going to give us 5. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 5 is 11. All right. Now, number 5. We read this as evaluate 0 and 1/10 times m plus 8 minus 12 times n when m is 30, and that should say when n is equal to 1/4. Sorry about that. Alright, so once again, I'm going to change this to a fraction, which is 1/10 times m, which is 30, plus 8 minus 12 times 1/4. Alright, we're going to do our due diligence and write some of these as fractions because we're multiplying fractions. And let me write this a little differently. Oops, let me get my different color. Alright, now that we've done that, this first one, 1/10 times 30 over 1 is really going to convert to 30 over 10, which equals 3, plus 8 minus 1/4 of 12, or 12 divided by 4 makes 3. And now we continue working left to right. 3 plus 8 is 11. 11 minus 3 is 8. And that is how you substitute and evaluate.